The EU has agreed to cut its emissions by 55% by 2030. The European Parliament wanted 60%. So have you settled for too small a cut?
Well, I think we've found a way out that would allow Council to agree with it and Parliament to see that it got a lot out of these negotiations, because now we can also operate with a so-called carbon budget, which will make it clearer how much we're using up of the room we have. We have more clarity on our trajectory to 2040 and 2050. We will have a greater influence of scientific evidence in our decision making, and that's all thanks to the negotiating powers of Parliament. So I think at the end of the day, everybody was very happy with the result.
And yet, some would say that 55% doesn't go far enough. Independent scientific analysts, Climate Action Tracker, for example, says the EU would need to set a target of 65%, not 55%, and fund climate action abroad in order to have commitments that are compatible with the Paris Agreement.
Well, I do disagree. I think with the target we've set, which is at least 55%, and all the measures we're taking, we did a very profound impact analysis. And I think this takes us on a trajectory to climate neutrality by 2050. And I have to tell you that apart from the UK, there's nobody else on the planet that is doing as much as the EU is doing. So in that sense, I believe we're together with the UK, we're setting a trend, and now others are following, like the United States, and hopefully also other big emitters such as China will follow suit. And I believe if you put all these efforts together, we could really get to climate neutrality by the middle of the century. And I think we need to start immediately. And what we've done with the climate law compels the European Union to stick to that trajectory. And I believe this is what needs to be done also by other major emitters.
You referenced the UK there. Your target does trail behind the UK's, doesn't it? They've announced a target of 68% reduction by 2030, 78% by 2035. What do you make of their targets?
Well, I think it's a very good target. It's a bit apples and oranges. You can't really compare all these targets, but the UK is ahead of the rest of the world. I hope this will also translate into concrete measures. That's what we're doing. We're going to present to the European Parliament and to the Council of Ministers a package of measures that would, for instance, enhance our emissions trading system, would speed up our transition to renewable energy, would really speed up our transition to electric mobility, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope the UK will back up its pledge also with policies. And I really look forward to working together with the UK on this. And, you know, at the end of the day, frankly, I don't care who wins. I mean, everybody wins. And if the UK is ahead of the EU, good for them. But we'll see each other in 2050. And hopefully, both we will reach climate neutrality by then.
And you talk about that transition to renewable energy. For some countries in the EU, that's going to be a real challenge, isn't it? I'm thinking particularly of Poland. We reported from there yesterday, and we could see that they depend on coal for around 75% of their electricity. So what does the EU have to do to make that transition for them easier? How much money are they going to have to spend on Poland?
Well, first of all, I think everybody now knows that there's no future in coal. And nobody knows that better than people in Poland, because they see what's happening in the markets. They see that there's no one who wants to invest in that. They are left with all this coal they're digging up and nobody's buying it. So they know something needs to change. And we will show solidarity at EU level. We will have a just transition fund. We will see also now in the recovery period a lot of money going to Poland to restructure its economy. We're talking about more than 1/4 of Polish GDP that it will get in support from the European Union. And I think there are so many benefits in this, because you will create new jobs for people who are now working in the coal mining industry. There are huge opportunities. Poland is a country with a tremendous amount of engineers, and we will be needing engineers in this economy that's coming, with hydrogen, with the circular economy, and all these new technologies that will be applied. And these are huge opportunities. But of course, the transition is going to be extremely complicated for everyone. This is going to be very, very complicated time ahead of us. But the alternative, doing nothing, is going to create many more problems than actually acting.
Well, yes, and it's interesting you say that it's going to be very complicated for everyone because you've actually said before, haven't you, that decarbonisation needs a tectonic shift in the way society is structured. Do you think that national politicians are being honest enough with their people about how their lives are going to change and how soon?
Well, I've been in politics for over 30 years. I've been a national politician, been elected to my national parliament for six times. So I have some experience, and it's always difficult to confront your electorate with very, very difficult messages. Especially, we're in a pandemic. We people are suffering so much, and then you have to tell them, by the way, we have a couple of other crises that are actually life-threatening that we need to address. But I think we can't afford the luxury of not telling the truth. I don't want to see my children and my children's children asking themselves, well, our grandparents knew this was happening, why didn't they act? We can't afford to do that. And honestly, I believe that we're also in an industrial revolution. These changes are tectonic, and we need to shape them. This is the time for politics. This is the time that society needs to take its own destiny in its own hands. If we just let it happen, then the happy few will come out stronger, and the large majority of the population will suffer. If we shape it, if we take initiatives, if we change our society into a sustainable way, then we can make sure that we leave no one behind. I think that's the huge task we face, but it's feasible. It is feasible.
So what do those changes look like for individuals? How will their lives change? Because obviously some jobs are going to go, aren't they? I mean, people might be encouraged to get around very differently. They might be encouraged to eat very differently. What do you think those changes look like for individuals?
Well, our lives will change whether we adapt to climate change or we don't. Because if we don't, then climate change, the temperature will go above 2 degrees in increase. And then, the weather patterns will be more erratic. We will have more firestorms, we'll have more droughts, etc. And that will have a huge impact on our lives. If we let that happen, our children will fight wars over water and food. So we need to change, but the change doesn't have to be, doesn't have to take away the value of our life. It will increase the value of our life. When we change the way we move around, when we eliminate combustion engines and go to electric vehicles, we will have cleaner air in our cities. We will have more safety on our roads. When we change the way we eat and we're more conscious of what we eat, we will reduce the risk of ecocide, of biodiversity disappearing. When we go to a circular economy, we will reduce massively our waste, and we will do something about what David Attenborough has been teaching us from the beginning, and that is taking away all this plastic waste out of the oceans. If we don't change, there will be more plastic in the oceans than fish 50 years from now. So the change is a positive change. Of course, it will be difficult. It will be bloody difficult, honestly speaking. It will be very difficult. But I just don't want people to underestimate the negative consequences of not acting. And I believe that acting will take us to a society that we can truthfully hand over to our children and grandchildren in a good conscience, saying that we set the world on a track that will allow humanity to live within the boundaries of the planet. We've never learned to live within the boundaries of the planet. We need to learn it now.